The man who claims he shot Osama Bin Laden says last week's terror attack in Manchester should be a wake-up call to take on Islamic State more seriously.
Well, Robert O'Neill has been at the centre of America's war on terror as a member of the elite military squad SEAL Team 6. He joins us now live from New York. Good morning to you. And obviously with your expertise of having served, I know that you've been sent on countless crucial missions, and probably the most famous that we know about is that you were the one that killed Osama Bin Laden. What was your reaction when you heard about the terror attack in Manchester and what had happened?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. My first reaction is, when I found out about what kind of injuries there were, high-speed shrapnel wounds at the outskirts of a perimeter. To me, instantly, it was a terror attack, probably a suicide bomber, and it would take time to find it out. But this is definitely the ideology that we've seen in places in Europe before. We've seen it in the United States here, and it's all based on the same radical form of Wahhabism that comes out of that part of the world. I've dealt with it before. This was definitely it. And, these are the people that target children, target innocents. And it's just, it's something that we all need to come together and defeat.
Right, Robert. Who's behind them? Who funds them? How complex is this? Because people just won't understand how all of this ticks. And you want to single out countries like Pakistan, you want to single out Saudi Arabia as well, and our relations, we the West, the US, the UK, with them.
Well, it's not so much I want to single out the countries themselves. I want to single out that form. There's one form of Wahhabism, like I said, that's a radical form of Sunni Islam that relies on the direct interpretation of the Quran. And we're going to need help from, well, especially with ISIS and Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, Khorasan, things like that. We're going to need help from the Sunni community to defeat them, because you've got to figure the largest number of victims in terrorism, involved with terrorism, are Muslims themselves, are victims. So we're going to need help from the leadership of the that's why it's great that President Trump started his trip in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, talking to 50 Muslim countries, not Arab countries, just to prove that this is something that we all need to fight with, not just bombs and bullets, but we need to fight it with education from the clerics, not just the leaders of the countries, but the people with, with the degrees, the scholars, because we can't be indoctrinating children at a very young age. It needs to be stopped. We should have done this, September 12, 2001.
But there are those who criticise the closeness of the relationship between the US and Saudi Arabia, between the UK and Saudi Arabia, and they point to the fact that, it's a convenient one, obviously, because of the trade between them, the significant oil, for example. Do you think that that closeness is the key to being able to affect change, or should there be some distancing? Should we be prepared to turn around and actually tackle it face on and not be afraid of turning them into a potential enemy?
Well, I mean, it's a difficult one because everyone, is in it. Saudi Arabia is in it for their best interests. But the leadership of the House of Saud are no friends of Al-Qaeda. And Wahhabism comes from Saudi Arabia. So I would just hope that hopefully we get to a point where we realize it's 2017 and we don't need to be teaching our children that non-believers are apostates or heathens, using jihadism and martyrdom like it's, going to the store on a Monday morning. It needs to start with education that potentially maybe we can disagree a little bit about religion without wanting to cut each other's heads off. We can't be stealing the innocence of children in these madrasas and in the mosques. It needs to be stopped by finding out who these people are that are preaching this, not just in Saudi Arabia, but everywhere. Who's preaching it? How do we stop them, get rid of them, and get the right message across to them? This is a fight that we're all in.
OK, you talk about free speech, you talk about religion. In those fundamentalist countries, can you necessarily have both?
I'm hoping you can. I mean, that's a lot of stuff we need to do with. Look at Saudi Arabia. It's 100% Muslim. There isn't a church or a mosque, or sorry, church or a synagogue in the entire country. And it needs to start there somehow. I mean, this is obviously centuries old, and that's why we're going to need the help. I mean, maybe there's a level of tolerance somewhere. And in 2017, we're all claiming to be more and more tolerant, but this very, very conservative branch of Islam is not. And like I said, we're going to need their help.
Robert, just finally, when you killed Bin Laden, I know you're a soldier, you're not a politician. I mean, did you think that's it, that's the end of it?
Oh, no. I knew that we had done a great thing with getting the major, not necessarily a mastermind, but the funding behind Al-Qaeda. But I knew the ideology was there. I know we had like 20 children. A lot of them want to get involved with the fight. He's got a lot of followers. It was a great night. It was a great way for us to be the end all of that particular, so many people have been working to try to find him. I was very proud and honored to be a part of what I consider the best team ever assembled. But no, this fight doesn't end, like I said, with violence. This is going to end with education, but it's all of us.